Recording by William Jones, Bonita Springs, Florida. The Startling Adventures of Baron Munchausen. An Adventure with a Lion and a Crocodile. Some years before my beard announced approaching manhood, or, in other words, when I was neither man nor boy, but between both, I expressed in repeated conversations a strong desire of seeing the world, from which I was discouraged by my parents, though my father had been no inconsiderable traveler himself. A cousin by my mother's side took a liking to me, often said I was a fine forward youth, and was much inclined to gratify my curiosity. His eloquence had more effect than mine, for my father consented to my accompanying him on a voyage to the island of Ceylon, where his uncle had resided as governor many years. We sailed from Amsterdam with dispatches from their high mightinesses, the States of Holland, and in about 6 weeks we arrived at Ceylon, where we were received with great marks of friendship and true politeness. After we had resided at Ceylon about a fortnight, I accompanied one of the governor's brothers upon a shooting party. Near the banks of a large piece of water which had engaged my attention, I thought I heard a rustling noise behind. On turning about, I was almost petrified, as who would not be, at the sight of a lion, which was evidently approaching with the intention of satisfying his appetite with my poor carcass, and that without asking my consent. What was to be done in this horrible dilemma? I had not even a moment for reflection. My piece was only charged with swan shot, and I had no other about me. However, though I could have no idea of killing such an animal with that weak kind of ammunition, yet I had some hopes of frightening him by the report, and perhaps of wounding him also. I immediately let fly, without waiting till he was within reach, and the report did but enrage him, for he now quickened his pace, and seemed to approach me full speed. I attempted to escape, but that only added, if an addition could be made, to my distress, for the moment I turned about, I found a large crocodile with his mouth extended, almost ready to receive me. On my right hand was the piece of water before mentioned, and on my left a deep precipice, said to have, as I have since learned, a receptacle at the bottom for venomous creatures. In short, I gave myself up as lost, for the lion was now upon his hind legs, just in the act of seizing me. I fell involuntarily to the ground with fear, and, as it afterward appeared, he sprang over me. I lay some time in a situation which no language can describe, expecting to feel his teeth or talons in some part of me every moment. After waiting in this prostrate situation a few seconds, I heard a violent but unusual noise differing from any sound that had ever before assailed my ears. Nor is it at all to be wondered at when I inform you from whence it proceeded. After listening for some time, I ventured to raise my head and look around, when, to my unspeakable joy, I perceived the lion had, by the eagerness with which he sprang at me, jumped forward as I fell into the crocodile's mouth, which, as before observed, was wide open. The head of the one stuck in the throat of the other, and they were struggling to extricate themselves. I, fortunately, recollected my hunting knife, which was by my side. With this instrument, I severed the lion's head at one blow, and the body fell at my feet. I then, with the butt end of my fowling piece, rammed the head further into the throat of the crocodile, and destroyed him by suffocation, for he could neither gorge nor eject it. Soon after I had thus gained a complete victory over my two powerful adversaries, my companion arrived in search of me, For finding I did not follow him into the wood, he returned, apprehending I had lost my way or met with some accident. After mutual congratulations, we measured the crocodile, which was just 40 feet in length. End of The Startling Adventures of Baron Munchausen, an adventure with a lion and a crocodile.
Nigerian letter, or 419 fraud. Nigerian letter frauds combine the threat of impersonation fraud with a variation of an advance fee scheme in which a letter mailed or emailed from Nigeria offers the recipient the opportunity to share in a percentage of millions of dollars that the author, a self-proclaimed government official, is trying to transfer illegally out of Nigeria. The recipient is encouraged to send information to the author, such as blank letterhead stationery, bank name and account numbers, and other identifying information using a fax number given in the letter or return email address provided in the message. The scheme relies on convincing a willing victim who has demonstrated a propensity for larceny by responding to the invitation to send money to the author of the letter in Nigeria in several installments of increasing amounts for a variety of reasons. Payment of taxes, bribes to government officials, and legal fees are often described in great detail with the promise that all expenses will be reimbursed as soon as the funds are spirited out of Nigeria. In actuality, the millions of dollars do not exist, and the victim eventually ends up with nothing but loss. Once the victim stops sending money, the perpetrators have been known to use the personal information and checks that they received to impersonate the victim, draining bank accounts and credit card balances. While such an invitation impresses most law-abiding citizens as a laughable hoax, millions of dollars in losses are caused by these schemes annually. Some victims have been lured to Nigeria, where they have been imprisoned against their will, along with losing large sums of money. The Nigerian government is not sympathetic to victims of these schemes, since the victim actually conspires to remove funds from Nigeria in a manner that is contrary to Nigerian law. The schemes themselves violate Section 419 of the Nigerian Criminal Code, hence the label 419 fraud. Tips for avoiding Nigerian letter or 419 fraud. If you receive a letter or email from Nigeria asking you to send personal or banking information, do not reply in any manner. Send the letter or message to the U.S. Secret Service, your local FBI office, or the U.S. Postal Inspector Service. You can also register a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission's Complaint Assistant. If you know someone who is corresponding in one of these schemes, encourage that person to contact the FBI or the U.S. Secret Service as soon as possible. Be skeptical of individuals representing themselves as Nigerian or foreign government officials asking for your help in placing large sums of money in overseas bank accounts. Do not believe the promise of large sums of money for your cooperation. Guard your account information carefully. End of Nigerian letter or 419 fraud by the FBI.
The Fair Princess. The princess sat at her garden fair. With a golden comb she combed her hair. She raised her eyes to the azure bay. A brave fleet bore in with pennons gay. Good captains say in the Holy Land, have you seen my spouse with his brave band? In Holy Land is many a knight. With what point device was he bedight? His steed bore saddle of silver gilt. The cross of Christ was his gold sword hilt. A knight with these I saw bravely fall in fierce assault on a city's wall. A wretched widow I have become, to mourn and weep in a ruined home. I have 3 daughters lovely and sage, but spouseless and weak in orphanage. What gift to him who returns your spouse? All the gold and silver in the house. Of gold and silver I have no need, some other guerdon must be my meed. I have 3 great mills, all shall be thine. They grind white wheat and benzion fine. The delicate flour so finely wrought, the royal stewards have always sought. For your 3 mills I have no desire, some other reward must pay my hire. My roof tile of gold and ivory, your gold and ivory tiles are not for me. My daughters fair, you shall have them all, 2 to serve you in your banquet hall. The 3rd and fairest shall be your bride, in love's nest to slumber by your side. Princess, your fair daughters count for naught, a costlier gift is in my thought. I have nothing more to offer thee, no other gift can you ask of me. But I only ask, and you can spare, the simple gift of your body fair. A filer insult knight ne'er gave, haste vassals, and scourge this loathly knave. The wedding ring with diamonds bright, we broke in twain on our bridal night. Where is the half you have kept so dear? The other half you can see it here. How many tears you have made me shed, how slow the lingering years have fled. What pains and griefs lie in your debt, when bliss like this cannot forget. End of The Fair Princess by Alfred M. Williams.